Good morning with you, YouTube. Good morning to you, YouTube. This your boy. They call me Tyrone, Willie Hewins, but you can refer to me as Tyrone. We doing it big here. I had a little bit of technical difficulties trying to get started this morning. But anyway, the subject that I want to get on, I slept on this all night, and I debated with myself, my inner self, as to should I put it out there like that, out there like this. Subject matter today is I'm a new individual, up and coming. I'm not going to sling mud, and I don't want to sling mud, but I do got plenty of information that I'd like to impart to the American public, friends and family, and those of you who are in need. You can get at me at youtube.com, Willie Hewins at youtube.com, Willie Hewins at Facebook, Willie Hewins at the True Focus. Those are my pages, and they all are. Those pages are pages of concern, and yet we still gonna be able to have some fun. So earlier I had a little bit of technical difficulties. I was supposed to be on at 10:30, but I didn't get on at 10:30 because I had some problems. But anyway, I'm on now. Subject that I want to relax into is this right here. I had my wife, who is a good woman. She listens to a young lady by the name of Roz and Boss Queen and Trish and another fella by the name of Coco. I'm not too familiar. I've heard it. I listened to some of the stuff that was being said, but some of the intrepid information that the one young lady was putting out there, I thought was real redundant, and I heard her do this quite a few times. Now, I'm a new individual. I'm not going to do no mudslinging. But what I am going to ask the American public to do, and any viewers or followers that I should get and that can receive this message, I'm hoping that it'll go over well. What I'm seeing here is this right here. If you have a page and you have information that you want to put out there to the public, you don't need to be riding somebody else's coattail to keep your thing in order and for you to keep your viewers up. I'm not knocking anybody down and I'm not going to sling no mud, but it takes common sense to be able to understand, and it takes the wisdom to be able to figure out that if this thing has been going on like this day after day in and day out, every time this person gets up on the wire, I call it the wire. Did y'all guys see the wire in Maryland? So this is what we're going to call it. Not that kind of wire where it's murder and mayhem. We're going to just call it the wire. And we're going to always try to do it big. We're going to always try to be able to put some things out there so that you can understand it. You can take it into consideration. Go over it a little bit, debate with yourself. And if you have instantaneous thought factor, you'll be able to figure it out right away. For me, it's easy. If I'm up here, I'm not going to ride your coattail to try to keep my thing in order. What I'm going to try to do is have my own truth. And this is what I see. If this person is doing something and their own page and people look at it, regardless to what they do, it's their page. Regardless to what they do in their household, it's their household. It's called the Fifth Amendment. The right to speak down through the third, fourth, and fifth, and the right to march and peacefully and to demonstrate. So what we're doing is we're demonstrating and acting out and articulating on a YouTube channel that we hope that the American people and the public or our viewers or fans who are interested in our work or the craft that we're putting forth, they'll be able to understand what it is we have to share. Point made. Let me help make this point. The point that I want to make is this. Why are you in somebody else's backyard, peeping into their window, worrying about what they're doing and how they're doing it, when your own backyard is not squeaky clean? And I say squeaky clean is this, because you slinging mud. And if you're slinging mud, you playing a dirty game of pool. What do you think? So what I'm trying to say this, well, now I'm not trying to say, I'm going to say it. Let me correct myself. It's early in the morning. I don't normally make those kind of mistakes, but unfortunately, I did. So what I want to say to you is this right here. Why do you keep going over the same thing about a person whom you may dislike only because they had a few things going on before you even got to the point that you at? And this other thing, I need to make several points, but I need to get this across first. Why are you worrying about somebody else's children and what they doing? It's not a problem about putting out some information. Now, if these people is supposed to have a certain amount of understanding, some intelligence, and be able to make a point, get some information out there, impart what they have to impart, do what they do on their own channel, and leave the rest of the people's channel alone. That's peeping into somebody else's window. Now, my wife watches this. I heard the little young lady constantly talking about an individual, not putting her name out there. From time to time, I heard something about a pumpkin head or something like that. I don't know. And I heard something about a Coco. I don't know. But the truth of the matter is, even though I'm up and coming, and if I see this, then the people that's on different pages see what you're doing. It's not a good look for an individual who can see through the forest, through the trees. It's not a good look. Now, I don't have no recommendations for it. I'm speaking my own truth, and I'm gonna stay in my own lane and stay in my own backyard. But what I had to do is make that publicly known that this is what I've seen. And to me, it looks like a lot of mudslinging. When you get up here and you got something that you want to put out there, you need to put it out there. And put it out there and stay specifically in that lane. If you got some research, you get your research together, get all your questions and answers together, get all your information together so that when you begin to put it out there, you can prove what it is you have to say. And remember, it's only what you can prove. What do you think, America? What do you think, YouTube? It's only what you can prove. So what I'm saying is this right here. The proof is in the pudding. Why is it so necessary for an individual to be digging dirt, slinging mud to make yourself look better in the eyes of the public so that you can continue to rise to the top? And technically and personally, I don't hear you really even saying anything. I've listened to you. You talk about some things. You don't talk about your life story that I'm new, but what do I know? So I'm going to ask the American public, YouTube, and anyone that I get as a viewer or a subscriber, you'll see the bell up there. You'll see me up there saying we doing it big. And I got that new dance for y'all soon. And we're going to put it out there. It's called Woolie's World, the old man. But if you don't see me do it, it didn't come from me. If somebody else puts it out there and say that this was Woolie's World, it ain't mine. And if I see it out there and they say it's Woolie's World, I'm going to have to knock it down because it ain't going to go like that. Only I know how it's going to go. Only I know how it's going to go down. And I'm going to say that for later. Back to the people. I don't want to jump all around, nothing like that. Got a few things to do throughout the course of the day, but I also got this information and this knowledge that I want to impart. We live day to day. Our hope is when we lay down in our bed, our hope is that we rise to meet the dawn of a new day. That's our hope. That's everybody's hope. And we always say it, I'll see you tomorrow, with anticipation that we're going to rise to meet the dawn of a new day and to be able to do some new things in that day, to accomplish a few things, get some things done, speak to a few friends, shake a few hands, boogaloo a little bit, and be able to just have some fun and what's supposed to be serious, take it serious. But what you supposed to laugh at, you laugh at. It ain't no need for an individual. For me now, I'm taking all hits, all comments, or I'm not blocking nobody. I'm not blocking nobody because this is where my understanding is. And I'm going to say it like this. I need to make this point. Let me put what I was saying on pause for a minute. I'm a socialist, liberalist, Tea Party. I'm all of that. Plus a federalist. All rolled into one. And that's where my understanding is. That kind of understanding to me is worldly understanding. That kind of understanding to me is being able to look at things from all points of view, being able to realize that you ain't got to duck and hide and block an individual only because they said some things that was displeasing to the ear or to you. For what? Man, listen. I say it all the time. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So my point is, when you talking to me and you feel as though I said some negative stuff and that it didn't meet your mind's understanding, then you need to fact check me. Yes, fact. F-A-C-T. Fact. Fact. I'm sorry. Fact check me. So that I can make the correction. No need to, I'm not blocking nobody. Bring on the comments, bring on the hits. Let me see what you're working with. One thing about me, I'm gonna play I'm gonna play on a plain level field. And when I meet an individual on a plain level playing field, that means it's on and popping. It's on and popping. So what I want to do is this right here. Get at me. Hit me up. You can get me at Willie Hewins, Facebook.com. Willie Hewins is Facebook, The True Focus. Willie Hewins at YouTube.com. You should be able to find my videos or subscribe to my channel. I don't have many followers at this point. I'm just getting out there. And I'm just getting up here because I have some information that I want to share that I accumulated over the years of my life and being in this world. And I feel like I can share that now. And before my life comes to a close, I just want to do some things that's going to work for everybody in my circle. I can't say it's going to work for everybody in the world because it's just in my circle. And the people in my circle who want to get at some of the information that I want to put out there that other people won't put out there for you, I want to give it away to you. It's free. I'm not going to say stuff like, and that was free. Knowledge is free. Knowledge is free. And every time you release some, you get a little bit more back because you're busting atoms. Those atoms that you're busting is the reawakening of those things, of that information that's inside, getting new birth to the information that was old that you released. And we ain't gonna say it's deep, it's just information. We ain't gonna get into that. We ain't gonna try to get deep. We just gonna put our information out there and speak our truth and stay in our lane. People out there in YouTube land, in the public, get at your boy. Let me know what you think. And let me know give me some suggestions on what you think that we should talk about. But I have a scheduled list on what I want to talk about. Man, listen, I want to talk about the politics. I want to talk about the streetwalkers. I want to talk about the smokers. I want to talk about the meth heads. I want to talk about a whole host of things that would be good for those of you who are struggling and looking for a way out and looking for some information that might help you to get out. Now listen, all kind of information is on YouTube. All kind of information is on YouTube. And the individuals and people that put the information out there for you don't always speak it to you and articulate it in such a way that you'll be able to understand it. They put it out there, but the articulation is now on the level. Having coffee with Willie may not be on the level that is pleasing to you. What you think? I won't be up here all day, but I will get up here when I got something that I want to put out there that's on my scheduled list so that we the people, can talk about it. You can hit me up, get me some comments so that I can answer some of the stuff that you guys have for me. And I'll be able to give you some answers to what you are requesting. Is that all right? My wife tells me she listens to the young lady all the time, and she listens to the lady Queen Boss, something like Queen Boss. Again, I'm not gonna be grudging hearted. I'm not gonna be backed up in anger. I'm not gonna be backed up on trying to ride somebody else's coattail because I got my own truth, my own wisdom, my own knowledge. I've accumulated that over my 60 some odd years of being in this world. I didn't come in the world and I wasn't in the womb with a twin. I wasn't in the womb with 3 people. I wasn't in the womb with 4 people or 5 people. I was in my mother's womb with 1 person, and I came into this world by myself. They spanked me on my bottom. I cried, and they washed me off and whatever, and gave me to my mother to hold. And ever since then, I've been growing and doing my own thing, living my life accordingly, understanding I made a few bumps and bruises throughout the course of my life, but it's my life. That information is the information that I want to share with you. And I want to reach an audience that of individuals who have children that are going down the wrong road. I want to reach an audience that I can laugh with, have fun with, speak to, go back and forth. But I'm not going to go back and forth with you individual. I'm not going to use the song. You know what the song say. I'm not going to do it like that. I'm just going to say I'm not going back and forth with you. And by no means am I going to block somebody. You listen. You have a right to talk what you want to do, say what you want to say, and put out there what you want to put out there. I'm not going to block you, man, because you had some stuff. Man, people going to talk about people all the time. I mean, people going to have things that they're going to say that they think that is not right. But it's just, this is the way I look at it. I look at it like this. Some people cannot rise to the occasion of the understanding of different people. Some people just can't adjust in their heart or in their minds what is going on in a person's life and what a person knows. A person can only go as far out there on a limb as their truth and their knowledge will allow them to. If they don't have a complete circle or a circle of interesting things or a circle of a lot of liberal things, federalist things, Tea Party things, capitalist things, information, and they're going to be stuck in that one rim going over and over and over and over the same thing every time instead of coming up with something that's going to help an individual, make a person smile, laugh at them, do the boogaloo, you know, things of that nature. So let's get it together. Now, I'm not, listen, by no means am I Dr. Jimmy or whatever, or Sigmund Freud or Dr. Phil. I'm just an individual, a human being who has been studying throughout the course of my adult life, learning some things, and I have made a few bumps and bruises that has taught me to do and go a different route. And the routes that I'm going now is a good route. And I want to say this to you too. When people, whether it be a person, a group, an audience, a crowd, and they are out there trying to express some things to you or impart some information that might help you or lead you in a direction that might help make your life better, we make each other better. We make each other better. When we listen, we make each other better. When we listen to the speakers, we hear stuff that's going to make us better. We hear stuff that's going to stick in the mind and in your brain and in your soul for long periods of time until you come across something that is greater than the information that you have at present. You will utilize the information that you have until it gets stronger and you no longer need it at that particular time. And it only comes to the surface when it's time to be used. Did I explain that to you right? I hope so. And I hope you received it. Yeah, my wife tells me about these things. Now I'm listening. I'm just not going to be an individual who's stuck and grudging hearted. I'm not going to be an individual who slings mud. But if you bring it back to me and say, well, you know, why'd you say that? Or why'd you say this? Or come say about that and this, not the other. Man, listen, I'm welcoming all comments. I'm not going to hide or run from nobody. I want to be strictly out there in the open. I'm not going to say I'm going to block you or none of that. Because everybody going to have something, whether it's positive or non-positive, to say about a person or to say about somebody. And I'm going to tell you why. My first, they don't have enough understanding that is equivalent to what is being explained. And when they begin to explore it in their mind and to separate the confusion that's going on when they got it or when they received it partially, the confusion is still not separated. So therefore, the information that they have is not great, is not as great to knock or strike down the information that has been put forth or come from the individual or individuals that has put it out there. So quite naturally, what do you think? They are going to have something to say. They are going to have something negative to say. If you stuck and you're grudging hearted and your life is in a shambles already and you're trying to ride somebody else's coattail to lift your own self up or to speak bad about somebody in a symbolic way to lift your own self up, it just means that you can't stand on your own platform and put forth your own truth. What's your thing? Now, I hope you received that. It just means you can't stand on your own platform and speak your own truth. Now, I'm on my own platform, which is a beautiful platform. And I'm hoping that my Lord, Master, and Savior will bless me to receive a warm, round applause from the viewers. And I hope that I get some subscribers. I have many things that I want to share and talk about. I want to share information on. I'm not the only one who's seeking a bachelor's degree, but for me, I want to give you the story. I'm not the only one who is a peer support specialist. I'm not the only one who has a list of information and talents that are long. So I'm going to give you the story. I'm off that other point, and I hope you receive me. Now, this is what I'm going to do for you. I did put out there that I had made a lot of errors throughout the course of my life, up and coming as a young individual into my early teens, right on up into parts of my adult life. Dropped out of school in the 11th grade. Who said, I thought to myself, man, I don't need this. All I need is this capital that I'm making, all this paper that I'm getting. However, that ended going to in a dead end, going down a dead end road. Because everything that I thought was real sweet and sugar wasn't sweet and sugar. And that grass wasn't green on the other side. We say that all the time. So I ran into a brick wall right then and there. Confession is confession. Been to reformatory, been to penitentiaries. Stop with the big boys. That's why I put out what I put out there before. Because I stopped with the big boys. I know what it is. I know what it's about. I'm not bragging about that. Shouldn't nobody brag about a penitentiary. They should be trying to get it as far away from the penitentiary as possible. So yes, I'll start with the big boy. And when you have that as your confession and as your testimony, you can put it out there for those who have been in that arena so that they can nibble, get bits and pieces or the whole truth from what you have been through. Yes, yes. We need to make plain. Now, what is between me and God is between me and God. What an individual chooses to release, he chooses to release because it's for the individual who is struggling, looking for help, and he or she might be able to get that from your testimony so that it might bring their life into meaning. Right? What do you think? So yes, I start with the big boys. And when I put stuff out there for the younger generation, don't matter whether it's he or she, they need to hear what is coming from the person that is putting out there. It's because it's their time. Right place, right time. You know that. And then wrong place, wrong time. You know those circumstances. But being in the right place at the right time, being able to hear something at the right time that might just spark a fire within you and rekindle that and get it burning again, that information could be very, very valuable to you. So I'm putting it out there, and I'm gonna keep coming, and I'm gonna keep coming, and I'm gonna keep coming at everybody with my truth, staying in my lane, not going over anybody's mess or hand me downs, because I got my own. I'm gonna be hot. I'm gonna be hot. And the only reason and for me, and listen here, it's been a long time coming. All right. I got that out the way. Now let me explain this right here. I said a few things. I jumped all over the place a little bit, but I had that truth. It was on my brain. I wanted to get it off. I wanted to speak it and articulate it to the American public, to YouTube, to my friends and family on Facebook, on other social medias. I got a TikTok page. I got an Instagram page. I didn't set it up totally yet, but I'm going to set it up, and I'll be on those pages from time to time. I have a Twitter page. I have a LinkedIn page. I have a Facebook page, as you know. I have a Facebook, two Facebook, the True Focus on Facebook, and I have this channel right here, YouTube, that I hope to speak some wonderful things about, do some wonderful things on, and put some wonderful information out there to the American public. Now, this is the other point that I want to make. Dropped out of school in the 11th grade. Like I said, ran into a brick wall. The street that I was moving down, it ended up being a dead end. Because I thought fast money, fast cars, and being in the life was going to be a good thing. But being in the life don't always mean that you're going to get out of that circle with big money. Sometimes you get all of that taken away from you. So what happened with me is this. After I got myself together and after I made all my bumps and bruises and ran into those brick walls several times, I thought about it, man. I said, man, this has got to be a better way. Straightened myself out, been married 33 years. Had 3 grown children, 6 wonderful grandchildren, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, family that I love, son-in-law, and a daughter-in-law. Back to my story. Once I began to understand what it is I needed and the tools that I needed throughout the remaining part of my life to make it through, I began to work on getting them. I had a whole lot of wonderful jobs, man, and made money that was suitable for me. When individuals making $5 and $4 and $6 an hour, I was making $35 and $40 an hour on the road doing electrical work and doing resources for various companies, resets. I was making that kind of money. And we'll get to that at another later date and time, but I needed to say that to be able to express this. So I'm 60 now. I went back to school and got a high school accredited high school diploma, not a GED, a high school diploma. Sat on it after achieving that. That was for me. That was a success. A success. It was just something that I needed to get off my list of things to do and things to have. I accomplished that. I sat on it for a while. Then I started thinking about some college. Now, mind you, I went back to school at the age of 60, and I got that. Now I'm thinking about some college. 65 rolls in. I start pursuing some colleges. Colorado Tech pulled me in, did everything, had a 3.5 GPA, fell off for a minute, got back up on the ladder, had some complications, and got back up on the ladder, and been moving ever since. I took some time off because of some other things, and we'll talk about that too at a later date and time. But anyway, I just want to let you know that those are some of my successes that I have had personally. My achievements that I personally have for myself. It ain't about trying to be an intelligent human being. I mean, you need to be intelligent within, but it ain't about trying to make yourself seem like you so intelligent. You need to be able to speak to the people in a liberal manner. You know what I mean? In a federalist manner. You need to be able to speak to the people so that they can understand where you coming from. I ain't got to use a whole bunch of big words or nothing like that, man. American language is easy. It's a bastard language, but it's an easy language. But anyway, yes. So I'm at Colorado Tech, seeking my bachelor's in human services and drug addiction. It's going down it's going down a great deal of avenues. So it's a lot involved. And I'm moving and I'm doing the best that I possibly can at this time, hoping to reach that 4.5 on or that overall GPA, 400 plus. But right now I'm at 3.5 and I'm maintaining that. So I'm happy about that for right now, but I need more. We always need more. So that's what I've done. But I got more information. I got other stuff to add to what I just released to the American people. YouTube, all the followers, those who might be followers, those who might become followers. I'm hoping that I'll be able to receive from you your hand of friendship so that we can get into it big, do a little music, you know. Now, mind you, when I put it out there with the music, you know, unless I had my own stuff that I wrote and produced, and I'm listening to some of the other artists, I'll put it out there. But I gotta put a disclaimer up there. It's not my music. But I want to have some fun with you. We'll talk about some things. And listen, I'm full of it, full of information. So bring your question and answers on. Let me hear you. Let me see what you got. And let's move from there. And I think this is going to be a beautiful session. Let's get ready to go down memory lane for a minute. All right, for now, hold it down, YouTube. I'm going to get gone. Get at you later on. This is Willie Hewins. Willie's World, the old man, and Willie Tyrone doing it big. Take care, YouTube. Love you.